Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Ethereum. We're going to be looking at the move that we've seen recently where it moved from less than 400 up to around 425 very quickly. We've been talking about a potential summer bubble for a long time now, summer of 2020, hopefully seeing a bubble that we can take advantage of. So far it seems to be playing out despite all the resistance levels. It's just blasting through them. And really laying the groundwork for a nice speculative bubble that we could potentially leverage to our advantage in a sense. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel in the description below if you would like to discuss this content with 5,000 of your closest friends. So let's go ahead and jump in. So we've been talking about Ether for a while. Now I want to lay the groundwork first, okay? Now one of the things we've shown before is the idea that buying Ether sometime in December of any year, right? So buying sometime in December has always yielded a decent ROI within the first quarter of the following year. So the first one you can see was a 1,700% move, and we're looking at it with respect to Bitcoin, okay? So this is with respect to Bitcoin. So this one would have been a 1,700% move. The next one would have been buying right here, right? So basically just buying in December, and then watching a 600% move. And we're not even including the second move up here. We're just talking about going through the first quarter of the year, or at some point in the first quarter, right? So just systematically buying Ether in December and then enjoying the ride that comes. Okay, so 2016, so buying in 2015, seeing the run in 2016, buying at the end of 2016, seeing the 2017 run, and then buying, this is December of 2017, right? And then from here, over the first quarter, watching it go up, 400% or so, okay? So this is 2016, 2017, 2018. And then in 2019, what did we say? We said, well, we've looked at the data. We admit that the data is not indicative of future results. We know that, right? We know that things could play out differently this year than they ever have in the past, but we said we can use it to inform our decisions. And so for those who follow this channel, I was talking about Ethereum in this region and how historically this would have been a great buying region. And then what did we see? In the first quarter, it went up 61% against Bitcoin. Now, again, some of you might argue that just given the natural volatility of Ethereum, that you're going to see these moves, right, with respect to Bitcoin. But I would argue the point, right, is yeah, we see the volatility, but it's always been that if you buy it, historically speaking, if you buy it in December, then you've always immediately seen like a really good 30 to 90 day ROI, right, where that you could start taking profits and see that decent return with respect to Bitcoin. So this is first the groundwork for what I'm going to show next, okay? So what I want to show next is a lot of speculation. Okay, I admit it's a lot of speculation. One of the funniest comments I think I see on the channel are people that say, past performance is not indicative of future returns. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of you're kind of wasting your breath there in a sense because this is common sense. But the purpose of this channel, right, is to speculate on prices, to try to get an idea of what's going to happen, and to mentally prepare for it, right? Because if you don't prepare for some of these likely scenarios, and when it happens, you kind of watch it come and go, and then it's just gone, right? And you missed your opportunity. So, what have we said for a long time? We've said let's hope for a bubble this summer, a summer 2020 speculative bubble in crypto. Let's hope for that. Let's hope for it to happen. We know there's a lot of resistance levels on the way, but let's hope that it happens. And it seems like so far it's happening. Now, let's look at the USD chart. So this is Ethereum USD. So what would need to happen, right, if this, if the bubble plays out? Well, we made a video back when Ether, right here, right before the move, we said Ethereum, the accumulation phase of a lifetime. We also made another video on Ethereum saying probably going to see a short-term speculative bubble that might take us to 750 or so, maybe even up to 900, depending on how long it takes us to get there, right? This was just based on historical information. And you can see that, right, if you just, I would encourage you to go back and watch the video, but it was based on this metric here. looking at these percent moves and how they compare to Bitcoin. This is the natural log of the close divided by the fair value price, and then extrapolating out in a sense where we could see it going. So go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. But essentially what it did was, it said, okay, well, maybe we're going to see a 750 Ether sometime over the next, say, 12 to 18 months. Well, it's happening rather quickly, right? I mean, we've seen it go up to 400 so far. And bear in mind, it was 230 just a few weeks ago, right? I mean, a month ago, Ethereum was trading at like $235. And now it's at $422. So it's almost gone up 2x in the matter of a month, right? A 2x from here is already in that $750 to $900 range that we talked about in that video. So it's certainly on the cards for it to happen. The question is will it happen, right? And we don't know if it's going to happen, but we're sure as hell going to be ready for it if it does happen. Again, this is not financial advice. Now, if it does happen, and of course this is speculation, right? But if it does happen, then we might expect to see something like this, right? Where it comes up into this region over the next, say, 1 to 2 months, right? What's one thing we know that needs to happen for this to occur? We know that Bitcoin has to either stay humdrum where it is, let's let it chill out at 11.7 or 11.8. It's fine where it's at. Let Ethereum do its thing, right? If Bitcoin, it's not necessarily a bad thing if Bitcoin starts to move, right? If Bitcoin goes to 13K, 14K, then the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio will probably bleed if Bitcoin starts making that move rather quickly. On the other hand, it's possible that Ethereum makes a move a couple days, then Bitcoin, they hand off the baton, right? They're like dancing partners, right? They're just going back and forth. So, don't be surprised, right? I mean, at this rate, if the trend continues, don't be surprised if you see Bitcoin breaking through 12K soon. Because if Ethereum's breaking through 400 and continuing to climb, then Bitcoin's probably going to end up following it at some point. So we know that Bitcoin needs to stay bullish. That means that Bitcoin needs to stay above its 20-week moving average, right? And if we switch over to the weekly chart, you can see the 20-week moving average is currently at around $9,100, $9,180 or so. So we need to stay above that, and hopefully no crashes, immediate crashes to the 20-week, because that would certainly spook Ethereum investors. So we need to see Bitcoin stay bullish, and if it does, there's a good chance that this could continue. Now, why is that important? Well, if it does continue, right, well, dynamic DCA is your friend, where you sell, portions along the way, because you don't know where the top is. If it keeps going up, you keep dynamic DCA. At least this is what I do, not financial advice. But on the chance that it doesn't go up and it goes down, you can look back at it and say, well, hey, at least I took profits along the way. It's a pragmatic approach. It's admitting we don't know where the top is and not being upset about selling and then having to sell later at a higher price. We just sell more of it, right? So if something like this were to happen, then of course it's going to get crazy, right? We know it's going to get crazy. A lot of people are going to start screaming like $1,000 Ether, $2,000 Ether. It's happening immediately. But my interpretation is, well, it doesn't matter, right? I'm going to take profits either way. So if it continues to go up, great, I'll just continue selling. But I would be more inclined to think that we would see somewhat of a retracement. Now, if that were to happen, let's look back. Last time in 2016, when Ethereum pumped, and this was after Bitcoin held the 20-week for about 3 months, or was not holding it, was above the 20-week for about 3 months. Immediately after, well, on the macro scale, it doesn't look so bad, but if you actually take a measured move, Ethereum dropped by about 50%. And that really hit home, right? I mean, it's scary when you see those types of drops happen really quickly. If Ethereum were to drop by 50%, or maybe it wouldn't drop by as much if the pump's not as great, but if it were to go up to this level and then drop by 40% or 50%, it could put us back down to the $350 to $400 Ether, right? This is certainly a possibility, and maybe it comes back into the regression band over a few months, or and just like it did last time. Now, if something like that were to occur, and we did retrace over the last quarter of 2020, well, it could set up another key buying opportunity. It might. I mean, we don't know yet, right? We're gonna have to see how it plays out, but it could set up a key opportunity, just like it did every other time. So on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, right, it would look something like going above this and peaking at some point, right? It's going to depend on how high Bitcoin goes, and then maybe coming back down. Because as we've said, like this is likely our next reaccumulation phase. And what I'm hoping for is to see a speculative bubble that takes us out of the reaccumulation phase, and then we ultimately come back into it, okay? And the reason is because by dynamically DCAing on the way up from, say, Ethereum back into Bitcoin or to stablecoins, you're taking profits along the way in case it does continue to just go up and up and up. But on the decent chance that it comes back down, it then can give you a really key time to accumulate more Ethereum than you otherwise would have, and instead of having to use a lot of USD, say dry powder, you're just basically using these speculative bubbles in the market to give you the chance to accumulate more. Now, of course, there's no free lunch, as we've said. You could be selling and then it could just keep going up. And then you keep on dynamic DCAing. At least that's what I would do, right? This is a possibility, but it's the reason I do this is because I just admit I don't know where the top is. So if this were to happen, right, and then we came back down in, say, December of 2020, it could present a key opportunity, right, for another first quarter move. And this is what I'll be looking for. Now, again, this is huge speculation. It could be that Ethereum Bitcoin just starts moving sideways and it gets pretty boring, right? There's a chance that this happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's always a chance that it's going to happen. I mean, kind of like when Bitcoin made that move from 3,800 up to 10K. I don't think most people were thinking we were just going to stay between 9 and 10K for 3 months, right? A lot of people thought we were going to, either move up or come crashing back down. And it took us a while. So don't discount that possibility either. But on the chance that it does see a speculative bubble, and then you see it come back down, I mean, this is something you can use to your advantage, not something you need to get really upset about, right? And if you don't take profits, that's perfectly fine. I mean, just recognize that it's going to be a long road, right? We're likely going to see some short-term bubbles and then retracements. Like, we know that 30 to 40% retracements in crypto is par for the course, right? Even for Bitcoin. Even for Bitcoin in a bull market, and we've showed this many times, but just for completeness, right? We've showed that even back to the 20-week, like every single time that we saw those moves, it was Bitcoin 30-40% back to the 20-week moving average, never a 50% drop, right? Until we broke the 20-week, and then we knew the party was over. So now I'm going to be looking for the same type of thing, right? I mean, I'm going to be looking for a potential speculative bubble that obviously may or may not happen. And the reason why I talk about it is just because I want people to be prepared for it. Because if you see Ether going to 500, 600, 700, and 800, it's going to be hard filtering out the noise of the market with what you know to be like a level-headed approach, right? It's going to be hard to say, oh, yeah, like maybe this isn't going to last forever when the greed is likely going to overcome you. So remember, if you were able to get in at the accumulation region of a lifetime that we talked about, when Ether gets to 750 or 900, you might be up like 3x or something. So just bear that in mind. I do think that we're going to ultimately go to several $1,000s per Ether over the entire market cycle, which I anticipate to last for several years. But I personally just like to I just like to take advantage of any speculative bubble that forms. And I've seen a lot of comments that say, don't try to time the market, just buy and hold. Well, the issue with buying and holding is, that's what everyone was saying over here too, right? People were telling people to buy Ethereum at $1,000 and just hold it for a year and you'll see a profit. That's not the case a lot of times. And the thing is we don't know where the top is. So from my perspective, anytime a bubble forms, I just have to take advantage of it, right? And you can look at Bitcoin and see why, right? I mean, last market cycle, not last year in 2019, we saw a bubble form. And a lot of people didn't take profits, right? But I mean, imagine if you were systematically taking profits at, say, that level, and then that level, and then you watched it come back down, and then you can continue to DC into the market. On the off chance that it had continued going up, right, to the red regression band up here, it doesn't mean that you have to regret these. It just means that you might continue to DCA your cells, okay? So this is the idea. It's certainly a pragmatic approach to crypto. It's not the the moon approach, or like where you just say, oh, it's going to go to the moon, and or as I like to say, the sea of tranquility. it's not like that, right? This is an approach that is most likely going to burn most people. My approach, in my opinion, is better because it just ensures that even though crypto is super volatile, right, you systematically take profits anytime a bubble occurs, because we don't know where the top is. Because we don't know where the top is, it's just about taking profits and recognizing that you're not going to sell all of your ether at the very top of the bubble, but you weren't going to do that anyways. Most likely, most people who have the buy and hold mentality are going to hold it, and then even when ether gets to say $8,000 or something, they're still going to hold it on the chance that it goes to 10K, and then maybe it doesn't, and then maybe it crashes back down to 3K, and then they're like, oh well, the market cycle just passed me by and I never took profits. So this is what we want to avoid. If you guys like the content, remember we do have the premium list into the cryptoverse.com. You will get access to the risk levels that I use to dynamically DCA in and out of the market. We have it for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, ADA, Litecoin, Monero, and XRP. So please check it out. Additionally, we're gonna have more on the risk. We're gonna have more risk levels coming in a few weeks. We also have the S&P 500 if you guys trade traditional markets. Those risk levels. In addition to the risk levels, you get access to a strategies dashboard that shows you dynamic DCA strategies, and you can even put in anonymously, of course, how much Ether or Bitcoin you have. It's just a Google spreadsheet, and then you can put in the projected peak, and then it will show you various selling strategies and how you can, investigate different ones to come up with a plan that best suits your own risk reward goals. So those are the first two things. You also get access to a private Telegram alerts channel, a private Telegram chat room, a weekly premium video, and a weekly premium report. So you get access to 6 different things, and if you want, you can pay with crypto for 6 or 12 months and get a nice discount. So if you pay with 12 months, you'll actually get a 15% discount approximately. And I would encourage you that if you want to pay with fiat, you can do that too, and you just pay monthly. But I would encourage you that if you've been sitting on it for a while and you know you're going to sign up, right? If you're not going to sign up, right? If this isn't your thing, then that's completely fine, right? Just enjoy the public channel. But if you know you're going to sign up eventually, then I just want to remind you that the prices will be going up soon. But if you sign up before the prices go up, then you will be grandfathered in at the lower price. So just a fair warning, because they will be going up either in August or September. And when they go up, that's it, right? I'm not gonna be making exceptions. It's just that's what it is, and it's basically a way to incentivize the people that get in first. So if you're not sure, you could always sign up for 1 month, and if it's not your thing, just cancel, right? Because you tested it out, it wasn't your thing, you canceled anyways. But just a warning to check that out in case you have been thinking about it. One of the common questions I get, right, is some people say, well, I can barely keep up with the public content. If I pay for the private stuff, what else am I getting? Well, there is a lot more you're getting, and I can assure you I spend a lot more time developing those videos and reports than I do on the public channel, if that's any indication of the quality of the work that goes into it. And a second thing is, as the market cycle goes on, there will be less and less public stuff, right? So for me, 2019 and 2020, it's kind of like just branching out, right? Like sharing the brand, kind of showing you guys how I look at the markets. As we get into 2021, 2022, 2023, there's going to be less and less public content, right? And part of the reason is just it's practical. If in 2023 Ethereum is $9,000 and I'm making videos saying guys, the risk is through the roof, who's going to listen to me, right? The people that are going to listen are the people that are watching me in 2020. The people buying into Ethereum in 2023 or something when the price is through the roof are not going to be the people that are going to want to hear that anyways, because I'm not preaching the message that they want to hear, right? They want to hear that Ethereum's going to go to 50K, and I'm going to be saying guys, this is incredibly risky. If you've been in the market for a few years, you're up so much right now, you should probably consider taking profits. Not that it's financial advice. But we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go to get there. The people that are getting into the markets now will be able to appreciate it when I come to them in a few years with the message of, hey, you might want to consider it. And by the way, we might see that message here in just a few months if Ethereum goes to a speculative bubble, right? If it goes to 650, 750, 850, if you want to follow along with the risk levels, which is what I use, then again, make sure you check out the premium list. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I want to make sure you guys are getting value. Let me know what you guys think about the content or the video in the comment section below. Leave me a note. I'll try to read all of them. And then also do check out the Telegram channel if you want access to, or that's just the public Telegram channel if you want access to a pretty large chat room, and we do try to moderate it fairly well. So I think it's a pretty high quality chat room. We have I think we have around 5,200 to 5,300 people. So despite the fact that we have that many people, it tends to stay mostly in line. The times it tends to get out of line are when a lot of coins are just going through the roof, and we kind of have to bring people back down to earth a little bit. So anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Please subscribe to the channel at the very least, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.